When then-candidate Donald Trump called the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action the worst deal ever, many took it as a jab at his predecessor, President Barack Obama. At the time, no one took much notice of the fact that aside from the Obama administration, there were 5 other countries that had signed off on that deal with Iran. Permanent UN Security Council members France, the UK, China, and Russia, along with Germany.
It will go down in history as one of the worst deals ever negotiated.
After taking office, President Trump repeatedly threatened to pull out of the deal, and keeping to his word, he did just that on Monday. That did not sit well with the other signatories of the pact. EU's top diplomat, who played a key role in negotiating the deal, said,
"The nuclear deal is not a bilateral agreement, and it is not in the hands of any single country to terminate it unilaterally. It has been unanimously endorsed by the UN Security Council Resolution 2231.
While President Donald Trump was cheered on by Israel, Saudi Arabia, and their allies, the rest of the world was furious. The president of the European Union went as far as saying the U.S. had lost its vigor as an international actor. Jean-Paul Juncker says the EU should replace the U.S. as a world superpower.
The U.S. is increasingly isolated, as it should be. It's, it is acting as a rogue state and has for many, many years, has done whatever it wants.
Then there were the reactions from the nations which had helped negotiate the JCPOA. China and Russia have said they will remain committed to the agreement. Germany, France, and the UK put out a joint statement saying, "Together, we emphasize our continuing commitment to the JCPOA. This agreement remains important for our shared security." The Europeans have already discussed taking their own security matters into their own hands by launching their own army. Initially a French idea, the bloc wants to be independent of the US and outside the NATO alliance. German Chancellor Angela Merkel says Europe can no longer rely on the U.S. to protect it.
Merkel is expressing frustration from the German standpoint. Germany has always been a little less attached at the hip to U.S. foreign policy than, say, France or the UK, the other imperial powers.
Aside from politics, Germany has deep economic interests in Iran and its lucrative market. In 2017, German exports to Iran were worth an estimated $3.5 billion, and today many of Germany's biggest businesses are working with Iran. So when the new U.S. ambassador to Berlin, Richard Gurnell, called on German businesses to get out of Iran, the backlash was instant. The chairman of the Munich Security Conference, who was himself an ambassador once, fired back, saying, "Rick, my advice, after a long ambassadorial career, explain your own country's policies and lobby the host country, but never tell the host country what to do if you want to stay out of trouble." The same goes for France. French exports to Iran doubled in 2017 to nearly $1.8 billion, and the total trade between France and Iran hit a 9-year high last year. The French economy minister has said that it was not acceptable for Washington to try to be the, quote, economic policeman of the planet.
The U.S. is dangerous. It's a attack dog. Israel is very dangerous. And them going their own way as a rogue army is not a pretty thing. It's a very scary and destabilizing thing. The Europeans realize this, but they have to put their own dog back in the kennel. You know, they've been feeding this thing for years. So they can't let themselves off that hook so easily.
What the Europeans are most worried about is that Trump has said he will reimpose sanctions on Iran, which were lifted under the treaty. These sanctions are largely secondary sanctions. That means they will target European companies that do business with Iran. In that case, the Europeans say, they will take the US to the World Trade Organization. Whether that will happen or not, only time will tell.